At McDonald's restaurants all across America and in 117 countries around the world, servers ask the same question thousands of times a day.
With fries?
The answer for most of us:
with fries?
Okay.
McDonald's customers love our fries. In fact, over 50% of our customers order fries with each of their meals.
I love French fries.
It starts on the farm.
McDonald's uses about 3.5 billion pounds of French fries a year. That's global.
This factory alone makes about 1 million pounds of fries every day. To make all those fries, these trucks each haul 25 tons of spuds from the field to the factory. Once they're washed, this high-pressure steam machine peels off the skins.
That superheats the water underneath the skin of the potato, and so when that high pressure is released, that water then flashes off into steam and it loosens the peel off the outside of that potato.
Workers hand-cut any imperfections off the naked potatoes, but it takes some serious firepower to give them that signature fry shape. Basically, these long tubes act like potato cannons with a grid of razor-sharp knives inside.
They will shoot forward through a grid of knives at about 75 miles per hour, and that's how we get that classic McDonald's French fry shoestring.
The newly minted shoestrings flood out onto conveyor belts, and get this, to make sure every single fry is perfect, McDonald's employs some seriously high technology in this next step.
We'll send over 70,000 pounds of raw French fry strips to the optical sorters an hour.
Optical scanners look at each and every potato strip, searching for blemishes. The machine automatically snags any fry with a fault.
There's 132 little air jets at the end of that belt, and the camera's going to tell which air jet to put a little puff of air on that French fry, knock it out of its flight pattern, where then later it can get the defect cut out of that French fry strip.
But perfectly shoestring potatoes are only part of the secret to the world's most famous fries. The cooking process does the rest.
We call it the art of processing. That's where it starts.
These 100-foot-long blanchers soak the potato strips in steaming hot water for about 15 minutes to give these fries the texture you expect.
When you go to McDonald's and open up a French fry and look inside of it, should have a nice, fluffy, baked potato type internal texture, and that's what the blancher does for us.
To get the addictively crispy exterior takes a two-step process. This machine dries the blanched potatoes before they dive into the fryers. In these vats of vegetable oil, bubbling at almost 400 degrees Fahrenheit, the fries earn their name.
By both doing a quick fry here at the plant and the fry at the McDonald's restaurant, the combination of those two allows us to get that nice, crisp exterior shell on that French fry that you expect every time you bite into one of those McDonald's French fries.
It's now out of the frying pan and into the freeze tunnel. The short trip crew drops the temperature to 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
It prepares them for packaging and allows them to be shipped all over the world.
This plant alone supplies fries to McDonald's restaurants in more than 20 countries, where they fry them up one more time.
If you lined up all the McDonald's French fries produced worldwide on an annual basis from end to end, they would actually travel from the Earth to the Moon and back almost 600 times.
At Five Guys,
Regular cheese, little cheese.
burgers and fries are the specialty of the house. The grill proudly sports very few frills and makes meat patties like you do at home.
I love coming to a place that's got real hamburger meat that's fresh in the morning. If I can find those places, that's where I'll stop every time.
The Five Guys are actually five brothers who began grilling up their homemade hamburgers in Virginia in the mid-1980s.
Okay, we'll start with the oldest. My oldest brother, Jim, and that'd be me, Matt, and then we have Chad, and then we have Ben and Tyler. All brothers.
Their love for mouth-watering meat and potatoes now stretches across America. This Five Guys restaurant in Colorado Springs, Colorado, cooks up well over 1,000 burgers every day. Getting ready for hungry hamburger fans starts early in the morning. They slice veggies and form fresh ground beef into perfect patties, all by hand.
The freshness is really what we focus on. And keep in mind, when we do our prep in the morning, we prep for only one day.
Then the number of people who walk in the door determines how many patties sizzle on the grill.
As soon as that customer walks in the door, you're going to hear somebody up front yell, 2 in the door, 1 in the door, 3 in the door. That's the cue to put some patties on the grill.
They watch the outer edges of the patty to turn a grayish color. Then give them a flip.
Flip that, and we're gonna give it a good press and level.
The press keeps the burgers juicy, and it's the juices that signal when it's time for another turn.
We can train these guys where they can look at a burger and say, you know what, that burger's done.
We're gonna swing that right over here.
But this is only half the meal.
Now, you can't have baseball without a bat. You can't have a burger without fries.
Sacks of potatoes surround customers in the restaurant. A board shows where the spuds come from each day. Would you believe 5 guys fries up 100 million pounds of potatoes each year? The fries start with a slice, then soak in water. They pre-cook the potatoes for a couple of minutes.
So that gives us that perfect fry that the inside of that is like a baked potato.
Then, when orders come in, a final drop of the peanut oil crisps the outside.
Pretty much goes from the dirt to the bag, into the sink, into the fryer, and into your mouth. And that's it. I mean, there's very few steps.
Their secret for freshness is to stay low-tech. No microwaves, freezers, or even timers here.
We want them to leave and go, how do they make that burger so good?
This all-American meal takes just 5 to 7 minutes to make.
Here you are, sir. You have a great day.
And for some, it takes even less time to eat. The hamburger is a simple thing: meat, bun, toppings. So how do you come up with a different twist on this familiar taste? Is finding a new flavor luck, or is it science?
I think the chili pepper will help give it a nice kick.
In the research and development lab of Wendy's, the answer is obvious.
Say 0.25 on the black pepper.
Food scientists and nutritionists toil away here year after year, dedicated to building a better burger.
The technical side of product development is something that's probably a well-kept secret. When I tell people what I do for a living, they're saying, how can that be so hard? It just doesn't make sense to me. But when you go behind the scenes and you really look at what's involved, for example, in formulating a sauce, we will go through often 25, 30, 40 variations on a particular sauce.
Most restaurant chains are on a constant hunt for fresh and trendy flavors. Inspiration is everywhere.
One of the tough parts of our job is that we have to go eat at all sorts of restaurants all the time so that we stay in sync with really what taste trends are and ingredients and popular flavors.
Okay, I'm going to mix that up so we can see what it looks like.
Once the R&D team have picked a concept, say a new mustard sauce or a spicy cheese topping, they start perfecting that flavor.
In a typical day in our R&D test kitchen facilities, if we're creating some new hamburger formulas, we might have 15 or 20 types of cheeses that we're tasting that day that we brought in from suppliers. And we may have 10, 20, 30 sauces we'll taste.
Spices go in and get taken out. New combinations are mixed, recorded, and judged.
It is good.
After the food scientists think they've gotten close to the right taste, it's test time.
Welcome to Taste Panel this morning. We're doing
The experimental burgers are placed before a sensory panel. Not food experts, but average people brought in to sample and rate the new burger.
There'll be 2 samples of hamburgers, and you'll be tasting the first one with this ballot.
The process is not taken lightly. Samplers are placed in tiny cubicles and instructed not to talk to each other, but to concentrate on the burger.
It's not really isolation. It's a little bit of privacy so that you have your own space to make your own decisions. You aren't swayed by the person next to you whose face might go, oh, I don't like onions, or this is really a great burger. And all of a sudden you think, well, then I must think it's a great burger too.
The panelists eat, then answer a questionnaire about the flavor.
We may ask them, how do you like the strength of the mustard flavor in this sauce? Or what do you think of the proportion of this ingredient and that ingredient together? Or is it too much cheese or too little cheese?
Now, everyone knows burgers and fries are a natural combination, but why are the tasters given crackers to munch between bites?
A little bit like wine testing, we like to cleanse your palate between samples.
Once the panel passes judgment, it's back to the lab to rework the recipe.
It takes us about a year to a year and a half to go through all phases of developing and researching and actually market testing a new promotional or special taste hamburger.
All this product testing has revealed an interesting fact.
Can I have number 1?
America's taste in hamburgers is changing.
10 years ago, we were pretty cautious about, we needed to be mainstream, and mainstream meant barbecue sauces and American cheese and maybe cheddar cheese. But today, we can go much further in terms of the types of toppings and flavor, and even the spiciness that we put on our products.
Of course, some ideas never do make it out of the lab and into the market.
We've tried a lot of things, actually, that didn't work on hamburgers. We've tried pepperoni, Canadian bacon, salami. We've done marinated peppers and onions. But I think you can only go so far with a hamburger, and then people say, no, you've gone too far now.